Yo, what is up, everybody? It's your boy, Blaze McCoy, and we're live once again here on YouTube for a WrestleSense report on pro wrestling and with special focus locally here in the southwestern Pennsylvania area. Again, we got a special guest here tonight. That's always fun. We're missing two guys that only like to fuck with me anyway. Oh, there goes my monetization. Too early. But we're going to get right to it. We're going to go local focus. We got a little RWA talk, a little 2PW talk. Then we're going to get into the weekend review as we are on the road to WrestleMania. And there is a lot of wrestling news to talk about. So we're going to get right to it. Let's welcome the people in the chat first. Thank you all for continuing to grow our channel. Make sure you continue to share it, like it, and tell your mother, tell your father, tell everyone, tell your kids, tell your dogs, tell your neighbors. Wally's in the house as always, bringing it from the side. Thank you, Wally. Good to see you. Crushing Kelly, thank you for all the likes, all the shares. You are amazing. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Andy Price down there in New Zealand, how you doing? Great to see you. Thank you for stopping in. Appreciate your support, as well as Atticus Black 2. And each and everyone. If you guys are watching by replay, please leave me a comment. Leave us a comment so we know you stopped by, and hope you enjoyed the show. We are going to get into 2 different segments this week. Last week we only did one, but we were missing someone, but we're never missing this guy, my man Doc. How you doing today?
What's going on, everybody? Excited to be here. Pain is love.
Yeah, after last week's show, I thought it was just going to be me and you this week.
You know, I thought that too, but I am very, very pleased. Can I go ahead and announce?
Yes.
I've never got to do it.
Please do.
I'm going to announce one of the best, one of the greatest, the boss lady herself, Emily the Fuck Doyle.
The fuck is your new name? How you doing?
Come on, that was awesome.
That was good.
Give her that little bit of boss lady boom, you know. Hey, I wanted to say something real quick. I want to do a little love Emily and Keith appreciation post. They got me this for my birthday. This thing's amazing. And it is a die-cast Ultimate Spider-Man. I was going to take him and put him into my office, but a certain 8-year-old has vetoed it, and Spidey is going to just stay here at the Doherty home with me. So, but I wanted to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. This thing means so much to me. You have no idea. Thank you for making my birthday awesome. And for giving me both of you give it with Jason from that wrestling podcast giving me a migraine with the new Pain is Love. We will get into that another time. We will get into that another time. Pain
but for
is
you
love.
guys that haven't been here around here before, we like to cover not only WWE, AEW, the main companies, but some of the local stuff around here. If you watch the trailer at the beginning of the show that was done by our girl Emily right here, you'll see some famous people from the area like Wardlow, Britt Baker, and stuff that have come from this area. So we love to talk about the future of the wrestling business, some top prospects, some great wrestlers from this area. So let's get right into our first segment, which is our local focus. Stay tuned. All right.
So local focus. I'm excited about this. You know, CJ's reffing out at Wrestle Rex. We wish him the best of luck. You know, CJ's busting his ass this whole weekend. So God bless him.
3 days in a row.
It's the year to snapshot, man. He's one last hurrah. Why not?
One last. And speaking of, you know, and then Ray, I forget where Ray's at though.
I'm at a black and white gala, so no, I am not watching.
Okay, that's where he's at.
I already had my finger on it, so like me and Doc are on the same wavelength.
Yes, we are. Because we can't get bitched at as many times as we want to play it.
Yeah, and a shout out to CJ. Was the milk bath. And another shout out to CJ.
Can I get a oh yeah?
So that's enough. That's enough of those fools.
That's enough of that, yeah.
So let's get into our
That's loud as shit.
Was it loud? I love it.
Oh, that's loud.
We're gonna get into a little bit of rewind and talk about RWA as well as 2PW. So so there. See, I told you we get Tony on the show somehow here.
Hey.
Yeah, you know what? He really disappointed me this weekend at RWA. And I'm not talking about his commentary skills are on point like always. Don't get me wrong.
Of course.
But he did not warn our boss, Dr. Feelbad. 2 men were coming into the ring to jump him. And Tony literally I saw Tony. He saw them.
Yep. I was ringside for that shit.
Yeah. I was not happy at all. What's up, Monstar?
Oh, geez. The love
That's right.
Continues. Jesse Jackhammer's in the building there. See,
Fuji for life.
We got Killshot Matt Storm is here. Good to see you. Brooklyn Joker. Monstar. Oh, his boot. You meant the R shouldn't be in there. Should it be B-O-O?
Oh, stop. Jeez.
So, wait. Something's wrong here. Wrong one. That's for later.
Uh-oh.
I'm all discombobulated. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm going to give Doc your birthday present. I forgot. Last week I was going to give you your birthday present. I forgot. So I'm going to give it to you now. Is that okay?
No.
I'll give it. How about a drum roll?
Present.
Yeah, it was your birthday. Around last week. We sung to you and everything, remember?
Yeah, give me anything.
Drum roll.
No. I'm so scared.
Oh no.
How's your neck?
Disappointed, Doc?
Yeah, disappointed in you.
Well,
let's talk about this. Let's talk about this now.
Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. We're not.
Welcome, Tony. Welcome, my friend.
Okay.
Good to have you on board,
right.
Tony. Great to see you, Tony.
Hi, Blaze. Hi, Emily.
That was great to hide for 5 minutes. Tony's just sitting in the green room. Watch his face just turn when you're talking about him. Be like, I'm about to bring him on.
Bring him on.
Doc.
That's
Happy
fine.
birthday.
No, thank you so much.
For those who don't know, these two ringside do commentary and all 900 different companies in the area. They're two of the best in the business. I'm gonna blow smoke up both your asses because you're on our show.
The best in the business.
It is the truth. You're funny. You're entertaining. You have great little one-liners that you guys have.
These are all true. These are all true statements. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, when you hear commentary, and this is coming from a guy who does imaginary commentary for 1,000 different little video games over the past 5 years, I try to do innovative stuff like make a little joke or bring in an innuendo or something. And you guys have been doing that for so long. I mean, you're my heroes. You guys are ones that have been doing it legit on the mic, on DVDs, on shows, all over the internet. And I'm glad to have you on the show. I mean, we got experts to talk about these two shows here. So let's get back into it. Now that we got our special guest here. So
that's actually the best photo I've ever taken in my entire life.
So we have a hierarchy here, though,
it's like
Tony.
you're saying, you're like you're like, yo, dude, your fly is down, and I'm like, nope, not looking at down there. Oh, it's a party now. You're like, it was that kind of picture.
So we're gonna play a hierarchy here. So Tony, I'll call it best for last for your sake. So when we go over these matches and these cards, Doc's gonna kind of take us away because he's the head commentator, the guy who carries the show, right, Tony? And then
come on now, jeez. Well, we work as a team.
I know. And then Emily will come in and give her thoughts because we want her perspective. I always love having her on the show, and then Tony will get the last word on each of these matches. Fair enough?
I'm
just here for the ride.
I will accept those terms and conditions, but if we could slightly say that because Doc is the play-by-play guy, he should have a good grasp on what's going on. Whether he does or not is debatable. Emily does have a great grasp on everything Pittsburgh wrestling because she lives, eats, and breathes this business. She is second only to me in my dedication for Pittsburgh professional wrestling. And, of course, I am the GOAT. So
fair enough.
The GOAT. Okay.
I'm not quick enough to think
of commentary. I'm not the GOAT of professional wrestling.
Okay.
Just of what we do on the mic.
Trying to think of a new acronym for GOAT for you. We'll come back on that later.
The GOAT. Let's go.
RWA March to Victory, Doc. This past Saturday, fill us in.
It was an amazing event. We had so many seats filled. This thing was filled to the brim. It not only was just RWA fans, though. We also had some Ryse fans in there to see Brandon Kay and Dean Radford. They were taking on Project Society, which was one hell of a matchup, man. I enjoyed it, every minute of it. It was a phenomenal match. And at the end, man, we got to see Project Society really establish themselves here in RWA. And what I mean by in my eyes, they are already established. That's a team that nobody could touch right now. I mean, Shadow Man Elijah, Project X, those guys are out of this world amazing. These two below are definitely agreeing with me on that one. I mean, these guys are wanted everywhere in the Pittsburgh area. And luckily enough, RWA and Eclipse are two of the organizations that do have Project X and a Shadow Man Elijah on lockdown right now in the Pennsylvania area.
Doc, before we go to Emily, RWA over the years, just from what I've seen from the outside, is always really good at bringing in some big names or middle card talent, if you want to call that, from some of the other companies. A lot of Impact wrestlers and NWA, AEW. So, and tell us about Crazy Steve here. What did he do?
Crazy Steve actually took on the Great Alexander, which the Great Alexander and me, we don't see eye to eye. He likes to get my name wrong every freaking interview.
How do you get Doc wrong?
He calls me Duck.
Oh, it could be Dick. It could be worse.
He doesn't call me. He doesn't say Dick, but he says Duck, Doug. It's bad. But Great Alexander has been fighting through the trenches now for Tony, what do you think? 4 years, 5 years?
Yeah, close there.
So
I remember hearing about him 4 years ago.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is with this kid is, I mean he's at one of the head of his class in the Ryse Stronghold, along with Tad Jarvis, which Tony's not a big fan of. But
no, I'll talk about that when it's my turn.
Okay, so Great Alexander took on Crazy Steve, and Crazy Steve was able to get the 1, 2, 3 on the Great Alexander. But Great Alexander had quite the showing again. He put up what he could against Crazy Steve. But when you have a veteran in Crazy Steve, it was just too much. So.
Now listen, Tony, just because I have you third after Emily doesn't mean I don't want the banter between the top two commentators in Southwest Pennsylvania, the play off of each other, Tony. That's what I expect.
I understand, but I will hold my tongue because this is the first and I do not want to step on Emily's shoes because I respect Emily. Don't let anyone else hear that.
Clip it. We can clip it and post it all over social media.
Even though I've never gotten a chance to really work with her outside of the audio visual aspect of things because
this is a first
reasons.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, I mean never mind.
Not because we don't want to. The opportunity hasn't presented.
We're just not. Our schedules just don't mesh up yet. We've never had a window where I'm available and they need a.
We've tried.
Someone to actually show people how it's done. But anyway, either way.
Yeah, but see, Tony, here we don't.
But by all means, not me.
Here we don't have Patreon, so you can't claim ownership for this show, Tony, like you do other places.
Not claim ownership. I bought ownership. I bought a percentage.
Fair enough.
And the second you get on Patreon, Blaze, be careful.
Okay. Fair enough. Sounds good to me. So, Emily, your experience in RWA.
Oh, man. Okay, so that was a huge show. Like Doc said, Radford and Kay being there, I think that was the main attraction of the night. Crazy Steve being there also. I mean, that match alone was fire. I think that was right before intermission, Doc. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, right before intermission. That was the match right before intermission.
Yeah. That was insane. That was my first time. I've been at RWA in the past, but I had never been there when Crazy Steve was there before. And the first time I met him and watched one of his matches at RWA was when I was ringside filming it. So that was pretty awesome.
Well, you had fun with Scotty Too Hottie before too, didn't you?
Yes,
I saw pictures of him carrying babies and shit around.
Oh, he literally took the camera out of my hand twice and just started filming the crowd. Yeah.
Now, let me dig into that a little deeper, because you do, for those who don't know, she's filming around for IndieWrestling.us and these companies. So what's it like when one of the wrestlers, one of the talent come up and grab your camera?
So Sorg taught us from the beginning not to let them do it.
Gotcha. Yeah, they also taught me not to let go of the mic either during promos. You see how well that works out?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to tell a WWE star, no, you can't take my camera. Like, I told Sorg that. I'm like, you can sit here and tell me that, but it's going to be very hard for me to do so. So when he took it, I was like kind of hesitant, and Scotty's like, don't worry, I'm not going to break it. He like whispered that to me. So I was fine with it, but I stayed by him the whole time so that if something did happen, I at least was right there. But no, I mean, it was quite an honor to meet Crazy Steve and get to film his match this weekend. He played off the camera a lot too. Cool. And like another match that I really actually enjoyed was since he came and made his debut a couple weeks ago with Gory, Culmination against Doe and Lords was a very good match this past weekend. Remy and Gory have been getting a lot, and I mean a lot of attention, like not just at RWA, but 2PW. And I've had them up at Eclipse and AON a couple times, really making a name for themselves as a tag team too. And the Culmination in general, obviously, but that was a really good match this weekend too. I can't speak the same, and I can't speak very highly of J-Rock, so
maybe Tony will. I don't know.
Him and I are known to hate each other in front of the camera, so I can't really speak highly of his match. But
fair enough.
Tony may have more to say on that. So,
what about Preston Everest and Johnny Patch making their way into whatever the hell was their plan?
That scared the hell out of me because I wasn't expecting it.
I wonder. Are you sure about that?
Well, when I was filming at ringside, when I was filming Tony, I'm pretty sure that when I was close up on Tony, I'm pretty sure that when I went to zoom out, the camera shook because I was scared because I wasn't expecting it. So, yeah, I don't know what that was about, but I'm hoping Tony can enlighten us on that because I was not aware of that.
Emily, that's something I didn't even think about asking. Is like a lot of people out there don't know what it's like to be a person behind the camera filming wrestling. And, you know, while you're here, we're going to pick your brain a little bit about doing it, because not only do we see some of the same names as wrestlers and talent here, but some of the people behind the scenes in some of these companies, you know each other very well. It's a pretty tight knit. I mean, I didn't even get that close as you guys are with the industry in this area, but I just felt the family and the unity and see all these names and these different companies. And you're a very integral part of it from what I've heard from many people, even people that don't know you. And then there's Tony Kincaid. It's your turn. You may speak, sir.
So, first of all, screw you, boyz.
Thank you.
Secondly, it was a great show.
I might take you up
on
it.
It was very well done.
And I was very interested because we didn't have a heavyweight championship match because of Rev's suspension, and we were leading into Feelbad had already set up, our RWA's owner and promoter, Dr. Feelbad, had already set up the cage match for April, which, by the way, April 15th, Spring. Not Awakening. Spring. I almost said Spring Awakening, which is a Tony Award-winning musical. But
there you go.
There it is.
Don't ask me why Spring Awakening came up in my head.
Why did, before you go on, why did the people in the audience remember Rev? He's a friend of the show. How did he get suspended?
Because he broke my goddamn ribs. So
that's a promotion for some people. If people want to see you injured. I personally love you, Tony, but I'm just speaking for the general audience.
Well,
you're very well hated out there.
Well, cool, great, I guess. But thanks, I guess. I don't know. For anyone who hasn't seen yet, I had Feel Bad's been losing control of the business. Chew a little bit louder, Emily. I don't think people in Rosie heard you. And then so Dr. Feelbad's been losing control of his business. I made a choice. Whether it was intelligent or not is up for debate, I'll be honest. Feelbad slapped me, knocked my vertigo. Couldn't hear a word J-Rock said, and all I felt afterwards was Rev running his very athletic 6'3" frame right through my rib cage, cracking 2 of my ribs, and giving me a whiplash and a moderate concussion. So he was suspended for that.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And
I mean, I like Rev too, but I don't want to see anybody get injured, especially someone.
Well, the only one who actually gave a crap about my well-being was J-Rock in that situation. So I mean, like, you guys, Doc and Emily can dislike him. Doc can dislike him for being one of Team Feel Bad, and Emily can dislike him because
That's
I
not
don't know
it.
why she would dislike him. But I'm talking, Doc. I kept quiet when you were talking, so you will shut your mouth. So
we never talk over each other here on this show.
Right.
Never.
This is organized. Doc, that's strike 2, strike 3, and I'm going to take away your Wii. So
Did you say my Wii?
The strike 3 tomorrow at 2 PW. Bring your Wii, so I'm taking it from you for a week. You'll get it back in the mail 7 to 10 business days.
Ain't this some shit?
Wow.
Anyway, so I was glad to see Rev suspended. I don't think Dr. Feelbad's apology was sincere. I think he was trying to save face so I wouldn't sue his ass to Kingdom Come. Yeah, and that's all I can legally say about what occurred.
Is this steel cage going to hold those two, Tony?
God, if I know. We've had some steel cage matches in my short tenure. Been doing this. We're now in year 5. We've had several or
2, 3,
two cage matches, and I just missed Taylor versus Rev.
Yeah,
that was
you
the
did.
show before I left. But
so let me ask you this though. Let me ask you one question.
Sure.
Did you watch the tape like I asked you to?
I did.
Did you not see J-Rock pull you in front of him?
I saw Rev go right for J-Rock, and because of where Dr. Feelbad's body positioning was, he had to move around Dr. Feelbad, and and I just got cross-trafficked.
We were all concerned about you.
I do not think. Okay. I do not think Rev maliciously tried to spear me. I watched the tape. He obviously was not going for me. He was going for J-Rock after hearing the words J-Rock said. But that doesn't change the fact that I was there. Rev was out of control, was not thinking with his head, but was thinking with other parts of his body. And after he talked about his girlfriend and other members of his family,
his
went
mother.
after
his mother.
Okay.
Wow.
I understand, but he was a bull in a china shop. He was going to attack the first person who wore red. Unfortunately, J-Rock wasn't wearing red. I wore red that day. Bad idea.
You talk about RWA and you talk about Feelbad losing control. Okay, who could do a better job then? Is there anybody out there you think that could run
That's
RWA?
That's not my job, and I will not answer that question.
He's been. How long has Feelbad been there? It's been for
He started the company. He started the company.
He started a company. It's his
not
company.
It's not like other companies that change owners every 2 or 3 years. Like
since day one.
RWA is Feelbad's company from day one. Chris Taylor had a very passionate promo about how when RWA started, everyone in the business looked at Derek starting this company and going, this geek is not going to pull this off. 14, 15 years later, we are, I think, the number 1 company in the Pittsburgh area when it comes to independent professional wrestling. I don't even think it's close. I think we bring in the biggest stars that matter. I think we have the best homegrown talent. I think we bring in the matchups that you want to see. And I think we give everyone an open opportunity to be the best they possibly can be, to prove themselves in one of the most hardcore wrestling fan bases in
Wild West.
America.
Fair enough, and it is too. I mean, just for me this past year, getting to know the area, and you see Revenge, Ryse, IWC, RWA 2P, so many other ones too that aren't even in there that are part of this. And you can like whichever ones you want to like, don't like. That's your WrestleSense. We talk about that all the time. But there's a plethora of indie talent and indie shows in this area. I don't know if it's like that every other places in the States. I don't travel.
I think there's a lot of areas, especially in the Ohio Valley and our tri-state area, that are really starting to expand and start to show that, especially with the advent of streaming digital services and how easy it is to put a show together. All you need, it's not about technology being the barrier to entry, it's about talent. And with more guys going through training, more gals going through training, more performers going through training, learning how to be a wrestler and learning how to build their persona. It's not about can we stream, it's do we have enough people to stream? Because I can stream a wrestling show by myself.
Anyone can press stream on for anything.
But you need,
nowadays it's all
in some
available
states
for everyone.
You need the licensed doctor, you need the ring, obviously.
True.
But after all those barriers to entry, you can put together a show, and that's why there's a lot of companies. It's now we're just seeing that and I'm going to use this term, and I don't mean to use it as derogatory, but these outlaw backyard companies, they're going down, and they're realizing that either we need to step up and become legitimate, or we're always going to be a joke in the community.
Fair enough.
Meanwhile, the companies that are not jokes are now working together for the most part. You got Ryse, you got RWA, you got 2PW, and they're all clicking together. Revenge, Eclipse, AON, we all play well together. So all of us have this, let's not eat out of our own dishes. Let's eat out of our own dishes, but let's make sure that if someone's not eating enough, we don't make them go hungry.
I'm sure it's not an easy thing to run a company, let alone have 5, 6, 7, 8 in an area to coexist. So, whatever they're doing, keep doing it. And I got a lot of respect. I gain a lot more. Like I said, I'm looking in from the outside, just getting a little taste of it. You guys get a taste of it all the time. So this is going to be a big one here. Ron Hunt, we need to get him back on. Maybe we'll get him back on after all this and have him air his side of the story once again too. So RWA, April 15th. At the West Newton Gym. Don't miss it. IndieWrestling.us. All these information for these companies are in the description of this podcast too. So make sure you check them out. Even if you're not from the area, check it out.
Can I just clarify something? Because Walter Johnson's talking. I don't know if he's talking shit or not. I didn't say anything about Rev's family. I would not talk crap about Rev's family. It's not my problem. I don't have a problem with Rev outside of the fact that I think that he was hand-selected by Dr. Feelbad to usher in a new era at RWA without actually earning his spot. I have no problem with his family.
He did earn it.
Gotcha.
Okay. I'm not arguing with you.
So the security doesn't need to be around me. The security needs to be around Rev, because J-Rock's going to tear him a new butthole and try to get back the title that he never lost.
Tony doesn't. Tony, I think Wally doesn't want you to get hurt either. They want security around you too. See, he's there.
I don't need security.
He's looking out for you.
And I already got hurt, and I was surrounded by RWA security, so I know how effective RWA security actually is. Okay, they're not that good. And I was surrounded by them when I got speared, so they didn't mean anything. So I'm not the one in trouble here. And I don't think Rev has a beef with me. I personally do think Rev accidentally did it. I also think that I was set up by Feelbad.
Well, that's a developing story that we need to sticker, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, Tony, I like you. This isn't the first time you've been on the show. Won't be the last. Same thing with the Rev. So,
well, if Doc keeps running his mouth, it will be the last.
I'll make sure you come when Doc's not around then, because you guys never work well together, I guess. Tough luck. 2PW.
It's one of those things where the toxic high school couple that just has never mind.
This is really what it means.
That metaphor's gonna get really weird.
It's your show anyway, so you might as well take it.
No, go ahead. No, I'm gonna skip that metaphor. Whatever that was, it wasn't good.
Tough luck tomorrow night at the Worthington Center. Doc, let's run through this card.
All right.
And Tony's thoughts as well.
Tough Luck is going to be one hell of a night. I cannot wait till this event tomorrow night. Definitely pick up your tickets. Worthington Pennsylvania. A close dear friend of mine, Ryan, and he's bringing his cousins out. They bought ringside seats as of today, so they're excited. Stevie LaBelle, the Ronin versus David Lawless. This stems back to October 2021. 20.
Hardcore Halloween.
Yes. Stevie LaBelle actually, they were fighting, and we were actually did a show in a field. It was a field. Like that's where cow pasture.
We had to dodge cow shit, and Doc Doc
of all the things to play.
Got lost.
One me.
Listen, me and Tony were in the car calling the action, and Stevie LaBelle threw David Lawless after the match was over into this car, and then Stevie LaBelle goes. I mean, it was a junkyard full of there was bad cars, and then there was the other cars, like our cars. They almost hit us. Stevie LaBelle hits the car with David Lawless in it. David Lawless, the gavel, has been wanting revenge now for years, and finally he gets the opportunity to finally get his hands on Stevie LaBelle, the Ronin. But Stevie LaBelle is no joke. We all know this. It is going to be one hell of a matchup. Stevie LaBelle, former Anarchy champion, by the way, still wants his shot against his former best friend, Xander Gabriel, who actually screwed him over. So,
I was going to say, he's been screwing him over multiple times.
Thank you, Em.
Well.
No, go ahead, Tony. Your turn, please.
Devil's advocate.
It's Emily's
No, it's
turn.
okay. It's all good. You're
It
good.
doesn't have to be a 5-minute soliloquy for every match. We'll be here
Yeah.
for 7 hours. CJ will call me and say, bitch about it for being too long.
We're not going 5-minute soliloquies. Doc's the one who's channeling his inner Derek over here and going 5-minute soliloquies. So, I mean,
So you guys in the chat,
I
too,
have
you
one
guys,
wife, thank you.
You guys should be getting used to some of these names. So let us know who you think is going to win in the chat, too, as we talk about these matches.
So,
Any more? Go ahead,
so
Tony.
not to step on Emily, I'll be quick. But,
you will.
Stevie is frustrated because he lost the Anarchy title. I 100% understand why he'd be frustrated losing gold. You don't want to take that, an L like that and lose your gold and also lose a friend in his mind. Although I personally think that LaBelle pushed Xander away from him, being so focused on his issues with Payne Graham and how that went out. But alas, that's all in the past, okay? Xander Gabriel's doing Xander Gabriel stuff. Okay, let Xander Gabriel do Xander Gabriel stuff. Worry about the #1 contendership match later that night or earlier that night, depending on how the card shakes out. Stevie LaBelle and David Lawless have to settle this, and that's as much as I really can say about it because I've been informed that I'm not allowed to talk about assumptions when this match comes by certain people. That legally I cannot talk about assumptions about this match. So but you don't want to miss it.
Yeah, and what do you think about this fight, Emily?
I mean, I think Lawless is, like you guys said earlier, like you said, Doc. I mean, yeah, Lawless is pretty upset per that promo that he put out last week. I mean, he's pretty upset, been upset for 3 years now, almost.
I mean, yeah.
Stevie has all this pent-up aggression against Xander. I mean, I don't know. This is going to be a real fight. Like, it's going to be brutal. So
why does it have to be about Xander though? Like, why does it have to be frustration about Xander? Why can't it be
Xander screwed LaBelle out of like the past 2 shows.
Yeah, so you take it out on his next opponent.
So use it as fuel. Like, don't focus on it. Like.
Xander, that's what I'm saying. Like, he has all this pent-up aggression and he's angry at Xander. It may help in his favor to win over Lawless. Who knows?
Yeah, so Lawless has reason to get revenge on LaBelle. LaBelle has reason to take his frustrations out on Lawless from losing that championship. Sounds like the makings of a hell of a fight, if you ask me, between two people.
The biggest X factor about this is that, as far as I know, this is being set up and, it's been... The contract has been written that this is a wrestling match. LaBelle's bag is Anarchy matches, where there's no rules.
Good point.
So in a straight wrestling match, I mean, the judo background, I'm not taking away anything from Stevie. It's just in a wrestling match, he kind of loses a little bit of his edge. Not a lot of it, but it might be enough to give Lawless the chance, especially since Lawless has been on fire in other companies recently. Might give him a chance to get the boost here.
Now, I don't know anything about the match card, how it's going to run. I just threw them all together here so we can talk about 10 matches here on the match card. Now,
Cool.
I had this much of a taste of 2PW, but what taste I did was I got to meet JJ Rumham, who doesn't really like me right now, and fair enough, and Jason Hendricks. So I'm kind of part of the reason why these two are together, if you want to get technical. So, maybe I don't come back as a ring announcer. Maybe I'll manage these two or something. They want to kill me anyway, so I doubt it.
We got to say, I don't think they'll like you as a manager.
Hendricks likes me, but I don't know why JJ doesn't like me. I tried to. I don't know. I was just I was an outsider inside the fucking ring that night. All right. Big shout out to Clinton and Paul. Frostbite's in the house. D-Train's here too. Tad Jarvis, I think, is a great star. I think he's a nice young upcoming star. Got to personally kind of little interview with him on both of the times I went down there. The dude's got it. Tell us more about this one, Doc. Where's this one heading and where's it coming from?
It's turned into a blood feud. JJ Rumham and Jason Hendricks, they both have jumped Tad Jarvis, costed Tad Jarvis his first match against JJ Rumham. However, Tad Jarvis coming back, chasing them both with a chair. And again, Tad Jarvis getting another chair shot. So he was bringing Lewis the Nerd to try to back him up in here. This is a tag team match that's been brewing for a long time. As they like to refer to themselves, the Jersey Saints. I'm scared of these guys. I am. JJ Rumham, Jason Hendricks, they are just forces to be reckoned with. However, I'm not taking anything away from Tad Jarvis and Lewis. Lewis is I just hope he got his asthma cleared up. He has some asthma problems, but he got those under wraps. And
he doesn't have a job interview tomorrow either, because that kind of distracted him last month.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. So, like I said, this is going to be a hell of a match. I mean, these guys absolutely hate each other, and Lewis has Tad Jarvis's back ever since, they started together in Ryse. So, I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm a little nervous though. I'm a little nervous because JJ Rumham is just when he gets unhinged, like just watch out. I mean,
well, that's the thing. Like just alone at the last show, Doc, in January. I mean, you and Tony both were there. Like right at the end of the match, like JJ caused a bit of a disturbance. So I'm kind of worried about what's going to happen at the end of this match, depending on how it ends. So.
Yeah. Tony?
Emily?
That was her. Go ahead.
I went in.
Okay. The Jersey Saints are an interesting matchup. Jason Hendricks is, I think, just about to make his breakthrough. I think he has all the tools you need to be a big star in this industry. Mm-hmm. So I think he's on a rocket, teaming up with JJ Rumham, who is also very talented. They have a connection that I think could go places in not only 2PW, but other places. Doc alluded to it earlier. I don't like Tad Jarvis, but I do respect the man's gifts. He is a very talented wrestler. And of course, the frickin' Nerd has been doing this for so long. He has been recognized as one of the best to ever do it. I mean, it's an even matchup on paper is what I'm trying to say. I can't choose whoever's going to win this. Clinton just suggested whoever uses a taser might win. Possibly. That might be it, or whoever uses that chair, because Tad's become absolutely obsessed with that chair.
That red chair, man.
I don't want to know what he does to it when he takes it home. I really don't want to know what he does.
It was weird to watch him just wheel it around everywhere he's been in the last.
It's a statement though. It's going all the way back to that moment. It's a reminder of what happened. So I mean, hey, maybe it fires him up. Maybe it keeps him going. Maybe. Speaking of something that fires me up, I love the runway. They're so entertaining. I don't know anything about the wise guys. So Doc, Emily.
I was gonna say, Emily, I think we both know who we need to start this off. Tony, if you will.
Yep, go ahead, Tony.
Former 2PW Tag Team Champions made their return last show after a very long absence. Tyler Klein, Calvin Couture, The Runway. Tyler Klein, of course, my D&D partner at Top Rope Tabletop. Calvin Couture, another one of my good friends. And I am not shy about admitting that I love these guys.
You said that real fast, Tony. Let me cut you off. If you guys I got a lot of fans out here, this community that love D&D. and I'd be remiss not to go a little bit further on what you're talking about, so they know if they want to check it out.
Yeah. So if you go on Facebook and search Top Rope Tabletop, you will find a show that Tyler, along with the unwilting Tatiana, almost screwed that up. Sorry, Tati. Keith Hott, the Bearcat Keith Hott, and Justin Idol from RWA fame. We every month play a D&D campaign, part of IndieWrestling.US's suite of programming. It is free to anyone who watches this live on Facebook or is available on the network after it's done. So check that out if you like D&D and want to see. Oh, Mikey Montgomery recently joined us too. I'd be remiss if I forgot Mikey Montgomery.
It's really fun to watch. Let me blow smoke some more. I mean, if you're a D&D guy or you're not, I mean, these guys interact. They're fun. It's entertaining to watch you guys sit around and shoot the shit. It really is. I dig it.
So, thank you for the free plug. I appreciate that. So the wise guys I've seen a little bit of, Tommy Irish and Gina DiCapo, are very talented, very physically beat 'em up people. So this is a very different clash of styles here. I don't want to say, how do I want to put this? The wise guys are coming into runway territory. Runway has already stepped on top of the mountain, won the tag team titles, and are looking to be the first 2-time tag team champions in 2PW. It's going to be interesting to see how much of that vitriol from Klein and Couture that the wise guys get. Now, that's not to say that the wise guys can't get these guys, because anyone can get anyone on any given Friday, but it's a big mountain to climb.
We got a special little guest in the chat here. We'll be talking about him soon. Kavad in the chat.
Joshua
Joshua
Kavad, one of the best in the area in my opinion.
We'll be talking about him shortly. Great to see him.
So here's the thing about the runway. The runway has run rampant over tag teams all over the area. There's not I will not take anything away from them. This tag team, though, the wise guys, I honestly know nothing about.
Cool.
This is the first time I'll be calling their match. They look very, very tough. They're wise guys. However, Klein and Couture always have a plan in their back pocket, and they really know how to utilize that. So, with all due respect, I mean, the runway ought to have, I'm not going to say an easy time with these guys, because by the looks of them, they don't look, by the looks of the wise guys, they look like they don't really take gruff from anybody.
Doc, not to break the game a little bit, but check out VCW. I forget which show it was. I think it was 4 months ago. I forget which show it was. Grave Encounters, VCW on Indie Wrestling Network. They wrestled the Rad Boys in the 2 out of 3 Falls match.
All right, I'll have to check it out.
So we'll go from a match with a team that we don't know a lot about. So Doc knows a lot about these two tag teams. Coming up next, we have the tag team championships.
Oh, yeah.
Brotherhood and Swole Patrol. Brotherhood had those titles for a long time, right?
Yes, they have. And the Swole Patrol walked in there. Not only do they, beat you up, they also beat you up mentally. And that's what they did. They got into the Brotherhood's head and then challenged them. Like they're living rent free right now. And I'm hoping the Brotherhood can bounce back. I've seen them bounce back before. I mean, the Runway, believe it or not, they defeated the Brotherhood is who defeated the Runway and, beat them for the tag titles. And I really thought the Runway was living rent free in the Brotherhood's head, but the Brotherhood was able to come back from that one. They have a big motto, FOE, family over everything. So hopefully they could actually use whatever they did against the Runway to bounce back against Swole Patrol, but it is going to be tough. These guys love the tag team titles. They love the gold. They love the glitz. They love the glamour. And I am not taking anything away from these guys. I had to use, for a while, it was a punishment. I had to carry Vic Braun and VJ Hale's bags to their car. Mm-hmm. It was not fun, especially all the protein powder and all the, they take their whole damn weight set.
Yeah, they carry 30 pounds of weights in their bags.
Yeah, I had to, think all those things had wheels.
Oh, geez. One thing I definitely noticed is there's a lot of great tag teams. I mean, throw Brotherly Love, the culmination in there too, with the ones we just talked about. I'm sure there's even more. Emily, is this the two best tag teams around here or what?
Two of the best, yes.
Definitely.
I definitely agree as far as that goes. I'm anxious to see, though, because there's been a little bit of a rift going on online between Vic and VJ.
Yeah, I noticed that, but I think it's odd. And Emily, not to call you out here, but look down at your shirt and see what you're wearing.
Oh, I know.
You're not exactly like unbiased in your opinion.
Yeah.
No, I am, but
Just
I
fun,
am
Emily.
though, because it kind of concerns me because if our tag team champions aren't on the same page for their match tomorrow, you know,
It's important. It's important to be on
it's
the same
very
page.
important for them to be on the same page. And I've seen some stuff on social media that they've been going back and forth on lately, and I'm just hoping tomorrow they can come to a common agreement and common ground and be on the same page.
Well, they looked when I talked to them a couple months ago for Kincaid's Corner, they were on the same page. So
That's
this is
good.
probably just growing pains for Vic Braun and VJ Hills, whatever's going on with them.
Yeah.
Julian J and Mike Bonner, again, will family over everything. Doc says that. I do think they're a little bit because once you lose championship advantage, it's hard to overcome that hurdle.
I think
so.
I think we just have a classic case of the team that took the belts from you aching to get them back.
But Braun and VJ Hales are always on the same page, so I don't see their little argument or whatever's online. I haven't really got to see it. I don't think that's gonna. I don't
Maybe
think
it's
that's
a
gonna
work. That's a good way to throw your opponent off, make them think you're on the same page, right? I had to say it.
geez.
CJ's not here, so CJ can say it. 2PW Anarchy Championship #1 contender, Doc. Break it down.
A1 Anthony Young to Sky Prince under the tutelage of Julia Lynn and now part of Team Big League under the tutelage also of John McChesney, our 2PW heavyweight champion. We talk about him a little later. Corey Futuristic won half of the STDs. Yes, you heard me correctly. The sexy, talented dudes. Don Murphy, former Anarchy champion, wants to get that gold back, which I don't know if Tony's on the same page with me or not, but I feel like he deserved the rematch. He never got one.
Yeah,
that's kind of how the Anarchy. I don't disagree with you, but that's kind of how the Anarchy title moves. Is that the second, like Payne Graham didn't get a rematch either.
Yeah.
So it seems to be like you lose it, you go down to the order, and that's because of the Anarchy concept. We are not following the traditional business structure.
Like the regular championships, yeah.
Now, Joey Moses, on the other hand, 11 on Dawn, we've seen him throw some money around. Could he throw some money around tonight or tomorrow night and actually capture that #1 contender match for that Anarchy Championship? This one is good. This one is going to go down to the wire.
Last month, so I mean, who's to say he won't try again? So
Tony's gotten some of that money, which God bless him. But I mean, it's what it is. I mean, I heard he pays well.
See, I always ask when I see multi-man matches if it's a one fall or if it's elimination, because to me that means a lot. But it seems like without it being mentioned that it's elimination, I guess this is a one fall match.
It is a one fall. Yep.
Yeah, from what I know, it's a one fall match. But that, again, because of how the Anarchy title is built, that could change day of. That's happened before. And sometimes it's done by management just to get the best out of the wrestlers. Because 2PW is Prospect Pro Wrestling. Gotcha. We're trying to, have these young wrestlers cream rises to the top. So we want to follow that mantra. And if we put these guys under high stress situations, they either crack or they become a diamond. This is a high stress situation.
Tony, keep us going here. Anarchy #1 contendership coming up next, the Anarchy Championship. So let's continue with your thought here. Good, Tony. The concept, the straight idea of Corey Futuristic winning the #1 contendership and then Chest Flexor somehow winning the Anarchy title.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
STD versus STD.
Nutty. It'd be nutty. It would just itch everywhere. Anyway, so but here's the thing, and people don't talk about this enough. First of all, huge fan of Xander Gabriel. I think the new direction he's taking with his career, making himself the central focus of his own story, is a big deal. That all being said, Chest Flexor is, I know he looks calm. He's not. This man is insane. And in an Anarchy match where there are no rules, Doc, we're not going to talk about it. This man doesn't have rules. He will do whatever he needs to do to win a match. We have seen him do those things. I'm not going to say anything because it's been put under gag order, but let's just be clear here. It's not good.
When things get heated, things get heated. And like I'm saying, it's a simple fact is this: Chest Flexor is an innovator of a lot of things. The first time I ever commentated a 2PW event, I was told I was calling a pasta death match.
Okay.
And yes, and he likes to get inside his opponent's head. One thing about Mambo Italiano, who used to wrestle for 2PW, the man hates Olive Garden. Chest Flexor had his, as he likes to call his protege, Pump Ferrari.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, well, at that time he was called Chef Pump. Bring out bags and bags of Olive Garden. I never seen someone have a conniption. No, nothing is good according to Mambo. Nothing. And I mean,
coming from an Italian, of course, that's the McDonald's of Italian food.
I guess it is, but I mean, every time I'm there, I felt like family. But I mean, it's just a simple fact that I got hit in the face with a botch. I don't want to say a botch, like a batch of like they brought cooked pasta to the ring. It was the biggest food fight I ever saw in my life.
I was ringside as a fan for that.
Yes, you were.
I got doused front row with all the cooked pasta along with my husband.
So was there sauce? Was there sauce?
No, it was just thank God.
Was there cheese? Was there anything? Butter, bread, or something? Is it just pasta?
No,
it was pasta. They had hard ones too, and what they made.
Yeah.
So well, that's great for Wally. What I'm trying to tell you guys is, I mean, they would bring out like you name like contraptions made of like manicotti noodles. He had a Freddy Krueger glove of manicotti noodles, and he shed. I mean, it was the most insane thing I ever saw. Where I'm going at is Chest Flexor also isn't afraid to put his own body on the line to win a match. We've seen that numerous times, myself and Tony. So where I'm going at with this is this right here is a very interesting matchup. I'm looking forward to, and you know, like I said, Xander Gabriel has this newfound attitude. Not a fan of it. Kind of miss the old humble Xander, but I get it. Look what's in his hand. You know, he made some changes, and the title's in his hand. Not a fan of it, but hey, I mean, if it's going to get you gold, it's going to get you gold.
I don't like using this term because it's way overused right now. Banger, but Doc, this next match, I think will be a legit, and it's not just because he's in the chat, a banger.
Yes, the Regent Joshua Kavad taking on Satan Survivor, Philip Archer. Oh,
he's that weird guy in the back hiding there. What the hell?
That is Freak, one of the most notorious managers in this business, and I'll tell you, he's taken over the culmination, and or not taken over. Excuse me. He has given the culmination his advice, and it's actually worked. I mean, the simple fact is, you know, Freak was having a pretty much a rough patch when he first started here in 2PW getting clients, and he just needed to find someone that was more his speed, and he found the culmination, which, like I said, that's probably one of the top factions in the Pittsburgh area. So, like I said, Freak really has made a name for himself as a manager, and now is actually starting to wrestle, and he's a tough customer, man, tough customer. But getting to Archer and Kavad, you know, you look at him, and he's such a hybrid, man. High flyer, he could brawl, he could do it all. Philip Archer, he just beats you up. He makes you hurt, and he makes you suffer. The man is just, he's angry. I mean, he used to be the Survivor, Philip Archer, a good friend of mine. And then under the tutelage of Jason Gorey and Remy LeVay, who have actually two founding members of the culmination, it is going to be, I hope Kavad is on his A game, and I hope he is ready, because he is about to take a path to a place where you don't want to go. And that is the 7th level of hell, the home of Satan Survivor, Philip Archer.
That's the thing. This match is like heaven versus hell.
Yes.
That's the whole symbolism of this match. So, like, and the fact that Kavad is already coming off the fact that he fell short in that tournament last month. I mean, there is no saying what is going to happen from this, because Archer's the same way. He fell short in the tournament too. So these guys are both pretty upset that they didn't get further in the tournament last month. Kavad got to the finals, but didn't actually win the tournament. So I'm anxious to see how this goes tomorrow. This is definitely going to be, like you said, Blaze, this is going to be a banger of a match.
Yeah. Two Bs, they're going to kill each other. Tony?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the only thing that's going to keep one of them from not killing each other is the fact that this is a straight wrestling match. Because if this was like, I can't stress this enough. And this, I'm not saying this because Kavad's in the chat. I'm saying this because I've said this on commentary multiple times. I think Kavad is extremely talented. I think he's a cheat code from time to time. His abilities are paramount.
Endless. Yeah.
Just a very impressive skill set. So does Archer. And it's not stressful. Yeah, I don't feel bad to say this. This is a big hurdle for Kavad, and I feel like beating Archer is a huge leap if he wants to stake a claim up the map. Because, Rev just lost against McChesney in January. So the Apex is down on the card when it comes to title hunts. But the Apex hunts titles. That's what they do. They hunt titles. Beating Archer puts him in the discussion for the next number one contendership match. When it comes to whether it's an anarchy thing, maybe he wants to look towards singles. Maybe he wants to look towards the tag scene. But you got to win this match. Archer is trying to keep what ground the culmination has had, and they've had a lot of ground in 2PW. So neither of them can really afford to lose this match. So whoever does is going to have to answer to a very angry leader, whether Kavad loses and has to answer the Rev, or Archer loses and has to answer the Gory.
Let me ask you this, though, Tony, real quick. Kavad, we've seen him with his back against the wall numerous times. And that's when he's his most dangerous. That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, I don't know if there's any other Apex members coming on Friday, but I'm just saying he's by himself. The culmination is going to be there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Kavad is most dangerous when his back is against the wall. And I feel like if I'm Philip Archer, I'm studying some tape. I'm doing whatever I have to do to be on my A game, because when you go against Regent Joshua Kavad, you better be on your A game.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Doc. I'm just saying that why do you think that Archer has to be the one that has to study the tape here? Like, it's not Archer who really, like, Archer's cemented in the culmination. There might be problems if he loses from Gory, but the culmination ran 2PW for a full year.
Yes,
the Apex has not run 2PW. The Apex needs to get ground back. So it's not about studying tape on Kavad because his back's against the wall. Kavad needs to be studying Archer. Kavad needs to be looking out of the corner of his eyes for Freak, for Remy, for Gory, because Gory's a marathon man. Gory will come out, scare the shit out of you, and then have a match. He doesn't care.
Make no mistake about it. A lot of talent on both sides here in this one for sure. It will be a hell of a match.
This is a coin flip, and honest to God, whoever wins this is going to be a game changer in the rankings. And I know management's watching this one closely.
So now this next one hits a little bit home. We got match number 1 last month, and the return of CJ Sensation to face Preston Everest. Again, CJ, right now he's at WrestleRex doing his thing. He's got a busy weekend. It's not like he's got, one thing to do. So, Doc, our boy CJ in his second leg of a year's worth of matches against a much younger performer, but, the seasoned veteran, the youngster, the two that had a little run-in a couple months ago. What do you think, Doc? Can our boy do it?
I'm hoping. Here's the thing. CJ is a veteran. He has the experience, but he hasn't been in the ring for a very long time. And Preston Everest, the peak performer, this man has taken Jamie Jamison to the limit, not just physically, but also mentally. He knows how to get in your head. He knows how to hurt you. So, yeah, am I picking a winner in this? No. Am I worried about our friend, our co-host, someone who I'll say grew up with in this business because he was one of the first people I met? So, yeah, you know what? I am worried about CJ. I'm very worried about CJ. Preston is a son of a bitch. That's all there is to it. I mean, he's starting now he's even making trouble in RWA. It's just, he's just everywhere.
Like you said, Doc, like, I'm more worried. I mean, I'm not going to call a winner here, but I'm worried for CJ. For the sole fact of that post-show promo from Preston Everest last month. Mentally, he's getting in CJ's head. He's living there, and it's messing with CJ, I think, a little bit. Just some of the things that Preston's bringing up from his past. And I'm more worried for CJ tomorrow. I hope that he bounces back from last month. I know neither one of them won last month. It was just a count out. So hopefully he can bounce back from that. But I am worried because Preston is, he's a very talented. He's a great wrestler. I'm very worried for CJ tomorrow, but I really feel like this match is going to deliver. Just like I said, I feel like Preston's just living in CJ's head with the comments he made last month. So,
Tony, regardless if you knew these guys, you work for the companies, just give me your thoughts on the young guy and the guy coming back, that type of scenario here, having to fight all the time, being a referee. And I mean, the whole story behind this. I mean, what's your thoughts on it?
I have seen CJ as a wrestler since I was a kid. When I was a teenager, watching his matchups in the early to mid 2000s, I have been a fan of CJ Sensation for a long time. I'm a fan of Preston Everett now, and it's not a knock on CJ because everyone who watches the show and everyone who knows the amount of respect I have for CJ Sensation. I think he's a phenomenal referee. I think he was a phenomenal wrestler. I think he still could be a phenomenal wrestler. Preston is in his early 20s. Preston is doing this like a boss. He is making waves everywhere he possibly can, shaking up things. And to Emily's point, it was a double count out in January, but was it? Because who was laying in the ground after that was done? Preston chose to do that.
Yeah.
Preston chose to have a no contest in that situation because he gets to do this all year.
Yeah.
This is now essentially the allegory of rolling the boulder up the hill for CJ. Rolling the boulder up the hill and getting it just to the top of the hill, and then the boulder falls down and you have to start over again. This is Groundhog Day, and it's a bad Groundhog Day. This isn't you waking up to something. This is you waking up from hell. Every show, every 2PW show, you're going to get punched in the mouth by the same guy over and over and over again, and you can't shake that.
No, now that you put it that way, bro, it's like I never really thought of it that way. As much as I love CJ, I want him to do well. It's like, did you pick the wrong fight to make a little comeback?
He didn't get to pick this. That's the thing.
That's right. Preston picked it, basically.
He chose signing the contract. So
yeah.
I mean, is CJ in over his head? I guess. I mean, I hope not. I hope this brings out what used to be, in CJ, he can last.
I will never say CJ Sensation is over his head. This man has fought many battles and defeated all of them. But
I don't blame him, man. You want to get back in the ring? This guy pisses him off enough. I want to see the mean side of CJ, want to take out the frustration on someone in the ring. I, like you, have watched him, not as much, but way back, seeing him in Uniontown here against CM Punk was the first time I ever saw him. Seeing him in these other places in here and watching him on videos. Yeah.
Defeated CM Punk.
And I mean,
he has a pinfall victory over CM Punk, and yes, CM Punk's biggest enemy is himself, but CJ Sensation's a close too.
Wish him the best, man.
Later.
I mean, and we'll have to revisit this every time they have a show.
That's the thing.
I just want him to get through it. Is what I want. I want him to get through
all
it
year.
Then we're gonna have this conversation again and again and again. Well, it's Groundhog Day.
But is there an end game? Is there a win?
He's right.
What's a win for CJ? Beating him all the time? Winning one, making it through? I mean, I don't know. I haven't really dug that deep into CJ.
I don't know what a victory is. You will have to make it somehow that Preston can't show up the next show.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know how to do that.
And this literally is step one, because like
Preston
Emily said, there wasn't a winner the first time. So this is who's going to draw first blood in this whole series.
Here's the thing, and I know we're on time crunch, and I'm sorry. Preston's moniker is the peak performer. That's not hyperbole. This man runs at a mass speed. This guy goes and he continues going and he doesn't stop. His obsession with things. Doc, back when his problem with Jamie Jameson, the DVD.
Yes.
It obsessed him. It encompassed him. It swallowed Preston's entire focus. Now that focus, the same focus that he went to Jamie Jamison, is now on CJ. And you know how dangerous Preston was against Jamie.
Yes. Very
How
dangerous.
does that translate now that his eyes are locked on CJ? I'm terrified of this match. I don't want to call it.
Good transition. Tony, keep it going. Good transition. Just brought up his name, Jamie Jamison versus Gory. Tony, keep it going.
Jamie Jamison now holds a key to the city, so to speak, in 2PW, winning the Wally Memorial Trophy. He now has a contract for any title at any time. He has already said in an interview with Doc and I that he is going after the 2PW championship. He says that he is the king of 2PW, that 2PW is the house that Jamie built. I can't really argue with him on that one. He lost the title to Gory. So in Jamie's mind, and I'm not going to speak for Jamie completely, but I would assume that in Jamie's mind, he has to put Gory down before he can focus on McChesney. Jamie has shown that he can get a little bit single-minded. I said this after WWE 3, and he got very angry at me, and I worded it improperly, and I apologize to Jamie if he watches this. But when Jamie wants to hurt someone, it's the only thing he thinks about. We saw this when he faced Mandime Elijah Dean. We saw this when he was dealing with Gory, when Gory challenged for the title, and he lost the title. Now he wants it back. He can do that, but first he has to shake the monkey off his back in the form of the culmination and of the New Age flag.
Yeah.
Doc, earlier you said that there was a coin toss. I think this one's a coin toss too. What's your thoughts?
I mean, they both have defeated each other. That's all there is to it. Gory, however, mind games. And when I say mind games, even worse than when we were talking about Preston Everest, I mean, we saw Gory put a meat hook right almost pretty much through the cheek of the country hammer Jamie Jamison. Jamie Jamison, and I mean, I'm with Tony on this. Yes, the house that Jamie built, 2PW. I mean, the country hammer he's gone above and beyond for this company. I mean, he held the Top Prospect Championship, and he held it proudly. He defeated one rough customer in Elijah Dean. You've seen Elijah Dean on AEW Dynamite. You've seen him on After Dark. I mean, you've seen him on Dark. Excuse me, not After Dark, but Dark. I mean, the man has a resume. But when you talk about resumes, let's talk about the New Age plague, Gory.
Yeah.
Let's talk about everything he's done in RWA, 2PW, so many Pittsburgh promotions. He's held multiple titles, tag team titles. The man is adaptable. He can adapt with anybody in a tag team and make him look like he's wrestled with them for 20 years. He is just,
in my opinion.
Yeah, he has a mind for the business. He is one of the most dangerous men in this sport today. I can say that about Gory.
I would say, this is my opinion, but I'd say these two are two of the best in the area. Emily, what do you think about going into facing each other? They've both been the champ before, and now, like Doc said, who's going to rise to the occasion? It's a toss-up, in my opinion. I mean,
well, and I'm kind of worried because there's no stipulation on this match, and
no.
it's kind of scary that there isn't, because this is just going to be a bloodbath, in my opinion. Because I mean,
you have to tell these two, like, literally, if you're management, you have to say, this is supposed to be a wrestling match, guys. And hope they listened.
I mean, no offense, but I've seen Jamie at his bloodiest, and it's not pretty.
The skewers?
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
He had a pound of skewers pounded into his head at one point, and he survived.
It was instant blood, red.
And one last thing, Gory's going to want revenge, and I think both of these two could understand. I mean, Jamie Jamison, in the memory of the late great Jay Briscoe, used the J Driller to defeat Gory in that fatal four-way match, but he did it on a chair.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm surprised Gory's even walking and even able to perform after what he went through.
It looked painful.
Yeah, I thought it was dead.
Both of these guys, Gory needs to win this match because he needs to put himself above Jamie on paper. In the title conversation against McChesney, or whoever wins between him and HL Supreme, McChesney and Supreme for the title. He needs to put himself above Jamie in the rankings. Jamie can pull the card whenever he wants to. Gory needs to put himself on paper ahead of Jamie, and Jamie can't lose momentum. So both of them need this match.
No disrespect to Tony as a special guest. He was a surprise guest. But Emily, our local focus correspondent, I want to thank you for everything you've done for the show and being a guest as well. So I want you to lead us with this main event match, which is
man.
McChesney and formerly known as Super Hentai HL Supreme.
Okay, so Super Hentai is not allowed to be said anymore, so we're going to call him HL Supreme. So he is returning. The last time he was there, he was Super Hentai. So he has not been at 2PW since February of 2022. So this is the first time he is returning, and he is returning and taking on Big League John McChesney for the very first time ever.
That's the question I was going to ask, if they ever faced.
They have never faced each other ever in a ring.
Wow.
And the first time is going to be for the 2PW Top Prospect Championship.
That's insane.
Yes, I know. I can't believe they never faced each other.
I can't believe that.
Before.
I'm really shocked about that myself, actually. I really thought that they've actually crossed paths, but then again, people miss each other all the time in this business.
Doc, how long have these two been wrestling?
Oh my God. If you look at the just the pedigree, oh my God, the experiences that both of these men have had in the squared circle, not only just here, not in this area, but all over. I mean, HL Supreme has literally trained out of Hayabusa, Japan.
Mm-hmm.
The Yakuza watched a wrestling match that he was involved with. I mean, this man has seen it all. But then again, you go to Big League John McChesney. My God, I've been watching this guy before he was Big League, when he was fabulous. And I mean, just a simple fact is, these guys are going to try to tear each other apart. HL Supreme wants some gold. I mean, my God, the guy is salivating for it. He was one half of the Sons of Liberty, who were the RWA tag team champions for a long time.
Combined for them, it's over a 40 years experience.
Yes, I'm saying 40 to 50 at this point, because my God, these guys have done it all. They've trained. They've trained young ones to be what they are today. I mean, if you really want to get technical, HL Supreme was a trainer at a certain Pittsburgh promotion, and there was a certain dentist that kind of trained under him. Sweet. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Himself and Marshall Gambino, pardon me, but we won't.
Chesney's been on Control Your Narrative too.
Yes.
So two very experienced in the main event. Tony, what's your thoughts on this main event, bro?
Bat in the hatches, boys, because this is going to be a pure wrestling match. This is going to be, if you like pro wrestling, this is going to be pro wrestling.
Yep.
Straight up.
Two very talented performers, definitely.
It's so crazy to me that we get to witness and we get to call the first matchup. Doc and I get to call the first matchup. Emily gets to help us put it on indywrestling.us, the first matchup between HL Supreme and John McChesney. This is Pittsburgh history. This is Pittsburgh history.
And we're a part of it.
Well, yeah,
Beat that with a stick.
Two that have been around for 2 decades plus and finally fighting each other. It's a hell of a main event. It's a hell of a match card coming up tomorrow night at 2PW for
Suck it, Mrs. Child that said I would never amount to anything. Suck it.
Yeah.
Who?
Suck it.
Teacher. Never mind.
I always believed in you.
No, you didn't.
Let's make some sense.
I just don't believe you sometimes.
That's going to be an exciting show. I'm a little bit sad I'm not going to be there.
If you are not doing anything tomorrow night, gates at bell time's at 8. Doors open at 7. Yes. So it's a little bit later than your normal 7 o'clock bell time. If you're leaving work and you are in the area or an hour away, Doc and I both travel for these shows. I highly recommend taking the evening, coming up to Worthington, buying a ticket, sitting down and experiencing this card. I think this is one of the best cards we've put together on paper, and we put together some bangers in the last few shows.
Yeah.
So really, if you can attend, you should. And if you can't attend for whatever reason, I'm not going to hold it against you, you idiots. But I will say, indywrestling.us. There's a 7-day free trial for new members. And
PSA.
You can watch this.
Tony's PSA.
You can watch this. You can watch RWA. You can watch dozens, hundreds, thousands of hours of wrestling.
It's true though, man. Every once in a while, because it shows when it's live. I'm subscribed. It'll show when it's live. You pop in there, you get RWA from 5 or 6 years ago. You get a pay-per-view from last year and stuff like that. It's a lot of really fun stuff, and you'll hear these two guys, and you'll see this lady running around filming everything.
Lady.
right
Boss
here
lady.
In southwestern Pennsylvania. It's a hotbed for pro wrestling, man. I tell you, and that's as a fan looking in from the outside. I can't express enough how much we want you guys to enjoy indie wrestling wherever you're at. Let's make some sense of pro wrestling here. It's WrestleMania season, people. So I have some breaking news. I have some regular news. I have some things that you probably already heard. So we'll buzz through a lot of this, but there is some really good stuff we need to talk about. On the road to WrestleMania, very soon, there was a lot of speculation on, the Rock stuff and everything coming out, but they released this the other day, which I really think is pretty damn cool. Here's the logo for SummerSlam in Detroit coming up at the end of the year. Mixing little Pistons, little Lions in there. So they're representing the colors of Detroit. Detroit, I've lived up near there. It's not the most beautiful city. I don't want to insult the Detroitians, but I thought I was on a different planet.
And that's
South Philly was the only thing that I've been to that was worse. But SummerSlam, we'll be talking about that as we head towards it as well. Going to break down a little bit of Stand and Deliver, which is coming up. We'll talk next week. We'll talk more about this card and the WrestleMania card in depth. But it's a huge weekend. I mean, we all know whatever city WrestleMania is in, all the indie promotions, all the small promotions, all the everyone's trying to run shows that weekend. Stand and Deliver has a really good card. I don't know. I don't watch NXT every week, but this is when those people really need to shine. I mean, who knows which one of these faces we'll see to Raw after WrestleMania. WrestleMania card is starting to gain some momentum.
Yeah, I think it's heating up, especially with Owens and Zayn getting back together against the Usos.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I had an 8-year-old jumping up and down in my living room. I thought my TV was going to fall off the stand. He's pumped. He's actually pumped for this.
So we'll definitely get into that little scenario, which happened this past week as well. But we'll talk in depth on all those coming up next week on the show. I love hearing this because I used to get really excited about the Raw after Mania because there's always call-ups. Someone new comes, something big happens, new feuds start because normally Mania ends a lot of that. So Triple H, I'm watching you. You better pull it out. I wanted Survivor Series matches for Survivor Series. We didn't get that, but hopefully we'll get a pretty good after. Will we see this guy?
Yeah, I heard that.
He loves teasing. He loves teasing it, doesn't he? I don't think he should. I like him better as
I can't stand Matt Cardona.
Ouch!
Yeah, I don't want to woo woo no more. I like just keep.
I like Matt Cardona. I don't.
What about this
see
guy?
Zack
Will he be ready and show up?
His injury was pretty gnarly.
Yeah. See, that's what I heard. Same thing, that he was really hurt. That he is possibly sitting out of this one.
So maybe just even if it's just an appearance, what a pop he'll get if he shows up at Mania because of the people that know that this could have been the end of his career and he still might never be the same. We'll see. There's a lot of big what ifs going in. What about this guy? His contract's up.
Okay, good riddance.
He wants a retirement match. Good, Tony.
Can I say something here?
Yeah.
Goldberg's retirement thing in the WWE actually took, and no offense, like Goldberg's one of the most important faces for wrestling's surge in the 90s. I'm not going to take anything away from him, but no, just stop it. You ruined. I would say you.
Yeah, he's
did
had some
so much damage
lately.
to people. I hold him as a great looking for his age, great looking, but there's a lot more to looks when it comes to being a pro wrestler. Now, that all being said, I'm sure Tony Khan is looking to sign him tomorrow.
Get people talking. Get people talking. He brings him in for a show.
Because he's a former WCW guy, you know how Tony Khan loves signing 50-year-olds from WCW.
That rumor's already bouncing around everywhere. People thought he was going to show up last night.
Oh God, no! Please,
we'll
God,
see.
no.
We'll see. He's been vocal about wanting one more retirement match. Where will it be? I don't know.
How many retirement matches does someone need? Ric Flair ran into the same problem. How many retirement matches do you need before you actually retire?
Yeah,
I don't know. I think we will see him the day after Raw. Look at Cameron Grimes. Look how damn good he looks. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, those are great.
Cameron Grimes, even before he was Cameron Grimes and he was Trevor Lee, Cameron Grimes was North Carolina's best kept secret. No one knew about him except for me because I watch all this stuff. and I pay attention to who's the next big thing. Cameron Grimes was making waves in TNA in 2017 when no one gave a crap about TNA. It was Impact, and it was like still dealing with Anthem and whatever Jeff Jarrett's gold Ponzi scheme was at the time. But Trevor Lee, Cameron Grimes, whatever you want to call him, this dude's a big deal, and I'm so glad he's finally getting recognized for that.
I think we'll see him in the main roster. I hope we better. There's rumors about her making a final comeback. This is just an Instagram thing or something where someone in one of her chats asked her if she was still in the WWE, and she said no. So everyone's overreacting on that because she's now just Trinity Fatu. She's not Trinity Fatu WWE anymore. So I don't know if we see her anywhere again. I mean, they'll make new stars. I was a big fan of hers, don't get me wrong, but Naomi could be done. I don't know. We'll see. She might show up at Forbidden.
Might be Prager's.
They've
been wanting to start a family.
Let's talk Hall of Fame. Rey Mysterio is going to go into the Hall of Fame. We already know that. We got Great Muta, which I was so happy to see that will be inducted. And I really think they're going to have to keep Flair on a leash for that induction because he's inducting him, from what I heard.
Mm.
I don't know why they wouldn't have Shinsuke. No offense to Ric Flair, but Shinsuke came up.
I agree.
It's the crossover and what Japanese, even Tajiri, bring Tajiri down.
Thank you.
Induct him.
Thank you.
But you guys realize how many matches has Great Muta had in WWE?
Zero.
One.
No, zero.
Zero.
One in
Zero.
WCW.
Zero. Yeah. But
he's had a couple. He had Sting. He had a feud with Sting.
Yes, in WCW.
Okay,
but that just shows how
three.
Great the Great Muta really is. For some, I mean, and this has to be Triple H written all over it, I would guess.
Why would you not want to legitimize your Hall of Fame, which is filled
with? Agree.
To someone that you are going to name in the Hall of Fame? I hope you have the next slide is the most important inductee when it comes to legitimizing the Hall of Fame. Next, and I want to talk about him when you get to him.
Go ahead. Talk about him.
Andy Kaufman being inducted into the Hall of Fame is a huge fucking deal.
Agreed.
Sorry about the FCC fine. Huge fucking deal.
We cuss it. We're not PG.
Andy Kaufman is the most important celebrity in pro wrestling outside of God. Is there someone more important?
Mr. T, maybe? Because the beginning of WrestleMania?
Mr. T, maybe. Cyndi Lauper, maybe.
Cyndi Lauper needs to be in. I can't believe she's not in.
Right. But you have guys.
I thought she was already.
No, it's ridiculous.
And the thing is, he was so just involved in this whole thing with Jerry Lawler. It's unreal. I mean, when you watch the movie Man on the Moon, he was one of my favorites.
Their Tonight Show segment was one of the biggest segments in wrestling history.
Yes.
It's one of the most important.
People didn't know if it was real or not.
Right, that's the thing. It was so important to the business, and no one gives credit. Say what you will about Jerry Lawler, and say what you will about some of his choices in his life, but what he did for pro wrestling with Andy Kaufman, blurring that line, the heel character, the all gender, what was it, all gender champion?
Yep.
Yeah, and what he did there to make a blueprint, like.
The Tony Clifton shit was gold.
Yes. The thing is with him.
This is a visual podcast, so I will show you guys.
Yeah.
This is not. Let's pull the curtain back for 5 seconds. This is by design. Okay. And I'm stealing from someone who is going to soon be in the Hall of Fame with this. Okay. Curtain back down.
So, real quick confession. I loved this whole story with him and Lawler and everything they did in wrestling, that I drove 3 hours to a Toys R Us, I forget where it was, to get the double pack, the Jack's Classic Superstar 2-pack of him and Jerry the King Lawler. That is one of my most prized possessions. And then they released a single one with his blue robe and his neck brace. And I had to have that too. I mean, Andy Kaufman is, when it comes to people that, like commentators and talent that, he's just an idol to all of us. Bottom line.
There's the reason they call it sports entertainment, and he's one of the reasons that it's entertainment.
And now that you have a bunch of people. Drew Carey's in the Hall of Fame.
But why
is Drew Carey in the Hall of Fame?
Is Jerry Lawler healthy enough to induct him? That's what I want to know.
Yes,
He just had that stroke. I mean, he's healthy enough to be there, but will he be able to? Jim Ross has that.
Knowing how much Andy Kaufman means to Jerry Lawler from the biographies I've read, and from he was very involved in the production of Man on the Moon, because of how much he respected Andy Kaufman.
Do you remember that T-shirt right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can actually order that on Pro Wrestling.
Andy is the reason guys like me can exist in the business.
For those who don't know, he was legit wrestling women all over the place in these shoot fights things and stuff, and it was crazy because he blurred the lines between reality with studio wrestling,
knowing that the end game was going to be him getting his ass kicked.
Yeah,
and knowing
willing to put over the other guy. It's a legit wrestling story. It's just
it's such an important. If you don't know Andy Kaufman Jerry Lawler feud and you're a wrestling fan, you need to educate yourself.
We'll be getting a lot of video packages and stuff, I'm sure, going up to the Hall of Fame and stuff on that.
Yeah, so Drew Carey is in the Hall of Fame.
There's a lot of weird names.
There's a lot of weird freaking names that Mr. T did give some legitimacy because he belongs in there. This is what I think
he's the reason we have an entertainment wing in this Hall of Fame, I believe. Someone like Andy, if he wouldn't have done what he done, we might not have an entertainment side.
I wouldn't be in this business without Andy, because prior to Andy, there's no room for guys like me who are better with our mouths than athletically gifted.
So there's a rumor that Stacy will be one of the next nominees.
Deserved,
very deserved.
Now let me play devil's advocate. Maybe not the best
wrestler in the world.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Maybe not the best wrestler in the world. In fact, I would say she was an awful wrestler.
Yeah, because I was just going to say,
phenomenal valet and personality.
What big match did she have? Like, what puts her in the Hall of Fame? What is her legs?
Yeah, yes. I hate that. You know what? I'll say it. Yes.
I'm not knocking her. I'm just playing the other side of the coin.
No.
Creating a debate.
Stacy Keibler goes in night 1, night 2, her legs go in, and we got the full package. No, she does belong there because she was a.
What goes in her is what I want to know.
None of our business, please. None of our goddamn business.
So let's look at, here's a hypothetical someone posted. Obviously, it's not real, but this is someone posted on Twitter. I figured it would spark up a little more conversation. There's Cyndi Lauper. These are not your inductees, but I'm all for all these. Obviously, we got Ray instead of Bautista. Umaga, I can't complain.
Yeah, Umaga should have been in already.
The Midnights, are you kidding me? Of course. I'd love to see them there. And Muda. And Cyndi Lauper we talked about earlier. So we'll see. There might be one or two they're going to slide in there before the end. I think Keibler's going to be one of them.
I don't think – I have a problem with putting in Michelle without Layla because they were so important to each other. Good point. So if you're gonna put them in, I think you need to put in Lay Cool.
All right, here's what Doc was alluding to earlier. We got the big hug, and what a pop it was. Everyone kind of knew it was coming, just like we knew a lot of these things were going to go down. When it happens, they're doing such a good job of promoting it, in my opinion. Just the way it's coming across, this storyline is gold since day one. My big question is whether Roman wins or loses, like what happens with this bloodline story? Will this main event night 1? That's the first question.
It should.
I think it's going to be, unfortunately, I think it's going to be Charlotte and Rhea, but I think this should.
I think Charlotte and Rhea is a close second because I think Rhea really does deserve the main stage for a breakout. If it's going to be your breakout, then I think it should be. I don't know why you put Steen and Generico up there because Generico has nothing to do with this. But the other 3 pictures.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
But the other 3 pictures make complete sense because Sammy and KO's relationship has been going so. Like, you finally got it. Good. Took you a while, but you got there. Jeez Louise.
I got that the minute you said it.
I know you did.
I'm not around Tony as much as you are. I was like, that's never mind. Got me,
the story, Clinton said it, in my opinion. This is right. This story is much more important, and I don't want to take away from the women because Rhea Ripley has busted her ass. I think she's the head of the Judgment Day. If there is a leader, she's the face of it.
I think without her, Judgment Day fell apart after
exactly.
They would have.
But
she held it together.
From the beginning of their careers, these two have been entwined. I remember talking to Doc. Again, I'm pulling the curtain because we're not selling a show, so we can be ourselves a little bit here.
Sure.
I remember talking to Doc in a hockey locker room after a game once, because Doc and I played hockey together for a while. And I talked up and down about how important the Steen-Generico feud in 2010 was for me as a fan. That was a year-long storyline in Ring of Honor that culminated at Final Battle, where Mask versus Career. and it was so momentous. And it started by losing to the Bucks and losing their tag title, and it was long-term storytelling. This is what KO and Sammy do. They tell long stories that culminate in perfection. This has been one of the longest stories, and credit to WWE.
It's a guy buddy story. It's a classic guy buddy story. Yeah, you best friends. Who doesn't fight with their best friends every once in a while? You know.
And all the credit in the world to the Bloodline and the Usos, Jimmy and Jay especially. My God, Jay should be a world champion someday. Jimmy, world champion someday. Solo, world champion someday. They have all done their roles to perfection. This is the best story WWE has told since, in my opinion, the Taker trilogy.
Okay. It's going to be a great fight, I'm sure. Holy shit. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Fuck you guys.
Oh my God.
Fuck you too.
Ray.
I'm in a fucking Wawa in the butthole of New Jersey.
Nice.
Oh my God.
Clip
like
it.
fun.
Clip it. Blaze,
Dude,
clip that.
I will.
Dude, the Walmart is so ghetto. They don't even have bags. You have to buy reusable shopping bags or carry your shit out like it's Aldi.
Damn, you chased Doc away.
Oh no.
Good. Fuck him.
Replacement. We replaced with Doc with Ray.
That's a massive upgrade.
Are you gonna stick around for a little bit, bro?
You have like 8 seconds until Lisa comes out of Wawa.
Oh,
No.
Sammy and KO hugging the other day, Ray. Your thoughts on that story with them finally getting back together, which everyone thought they would.
Yeah, I knew they would. I loved the way they played Cody into it. I think they missed the boat. It should have been a week earlier. That's my only complaint. I would have liked to have seen it a week earlier and seen them unified, like at the beginning of Raw tonight, and then at the end of Raw challenge the Usos, just to give it more time to like really sink into the crowd. Like it seemed a little rushed to me, but I'm happy they did it. I mean, we knew they were going to do it.
Yeah. So does it main event night one, or is it Rhea and Charlotte? Not who you want, who you think will main event.
I think it's Rhea and Charlotte with them co-headlining night one.
Yeah.
However, I don't see how you can not have Sami Zayn main event night one when he's the most over act in the company.
True. That's what everyone's saying. I mean, and then while I got you here for one more second, let me get your thoughts on this before we all talk about it. Hell in a Cell. Will we see a purple demon? And will we see a Brood Edge?
Yeah, I definitely think we're going to see the demon. It makes a ton of sense.
Will he be purple?
I mean, he kind of has to be, doesn't he? I mean, it should be Barney the Friendly Demon or something.
Oh, Jesus. Sure.
I mean, why not? And then, I mean, obviously with Edge's promo, he's going to do the Brood thing. The only bad thing about that is, like, he's played that out. Like, I don't know. I hope they just give him a kick-ass freaking entrance. Like honestly, get Alter Bridge to be live there or something like that.
They did that when he rose up out of the fire, and the entrance was amazing. Like, they got to do something different.
I don't want to see that again.
Yeah, I don't want to see the same thing either. What about you, Tony? What do you think about Hell in a Cell?
I think Triple H. I think Hell in a Cell is where this needs to go. I think that's a good place for this to end. I think.
Doc's internet went out.
Been played out a little bit more than I want it to be. I think they used it a little bit too early, because Brood. But if I'm Hunter, I'm trying to figure out how I can get Christian for a night.
Oh,
Or anybody to be on his side because the numbers are against him.
Right, and I
What
think,
is that? What the hell's the Cell's supposed to do? Is keep
that's
them
what
out.
the cell's supposed to be for. Also, let's remember, outside of Triple H and Undertaker, and Mick Foley, Hell in a Cell has been Edge's bag.
Yeah, for sure.
Along with TLC's, but the ultimate opportunist, the rated R superstar. Shut up, Kavad.
I had to put that one up. That's a good one.
That's funny.
Threw him right off his game too.
You know, as the ultimate opportunist.
A bit odd. Where'd you get that?
Trying to lick your head, it won't work.
So I'm so angry right now.
Why are you so angry? What happened?
Because fucking Kavad.
because he said this.
I jumped on the podcast.
Ouch.
Say hi, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Fuck you,
Middle
Lisa.
finger is her high. Hey,
All right, we
Chip,
have to go find. We have to go find our casino now. So
good luck.
I
Win
wanted
money.
to say hi and bye.
Bye.
Later, brother.
Bye.
I was like,
Fuck
damn.
you.
I was like, he chased Doc off.
Oh, Doc's
There's
gone. Oh, there he
I'm
is.
here.
I was trying to remove Ray, and I removed Doc.
It's enough.
Story of my life.
Welcome back, Doc.
yeah,
yeah,
sorry about
we
that.
missed
Internet.
you. I was like, fuck, Doc left because Ray's here.
But
What the hell?
I think the demon is a good way to put an end to this. But what do you do with the Judgment Day? Because it's WrestleMania. Do you have the balls to have Finn beat Edge? I think that's what should happen. Do you have the balls to do it?
Doc, will we get a purple demon?
I would love to see it. I would love to see a purple demon.
Yes, me too.
He's kind of
Me
got
too.
to, like you said, you kind of got to at this point. But
But
like
if
I
you think
said,
about it, you could make it in. I mean, if you think about it, some of the biggest villains in the Marvel comic universe have been purple.
A Thanos-based demon?
oh,
Yes.
geez.
Baller.
Let's talk about Raw real quick. 2 matches I really want to pick out is this one with Ricochet and Chad Gable. I loved it.
It was
I
a really
think-
good match.
I think Chad Gable, let Otis do the Eminem thing and go with those guys and put Chad Gable by himself. I mean, he really showed it that this match was great. And this second match, two one-on-one matches, I thought really highlighted Raw for me. And it was that one and this one, Montez Ford and Austin Theory.
Very good.
Two of the future of wrestling, in my opinion. I think both of these guys should be at the top for a long time coming. But let's talk more about this. Is what I want to talk about. This, and we've been talking about these promos pretty much every week. Did Cody roast Roman?
No,
I don't know if he
No.
roasted him. It
no,
was
but
good
Yeah.
back and forth.
No, and this is the problem with you getting your Chiron images from wrestling companies that don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
damn.
Roasting.
I know it's a
is
good setup.
Like that's when Cena told told Roman it's called a promo. You need to learn this if you are going to be the top guy. Well, guess what? Roman learned how to cut a promo. And Roman's now one of the best to cut a promo. But you know who was also one of the best to cut a promo? Cody. And we haven't
Yes.
seen promo work like this in over a decade. Okay?
Agreed.
Promo works are extremely important. These guys haven't touched yet. They haven't had a match yet. They haven't had a scuff up, a scrum, a shambles, whatever word you want to call it. They haven't locked horns yet. And last image down there, when Roman's holding Solo back.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about. And this is, I know many people don't agree with Vince Russo, but I kind of do at this point. Why would Roman not want Solo to go
'Cause
beat the
he-
shit
no,
out of him while he could? Why stop him?
because-
Good.
I'll explain this to you. Because there is an air of truth to what Cody is saying. The bloodline is falling apart. The only way to hold the bloodline together is for Roman and Roman only to beat Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania and cement the bloodline and cement what he's saying as the one true word. If you have Solo attack Cody, it delegitimizes everything. It legitimizes what Sammy is saying. It delegitimizes what he's saying. And now
Okay, fair
everyone in the bloodline thinks maybe I can run the bloodline.
Right.
You cannot let your subordinates in this situation touch the number one contender and your opponent at WrestleMania. You have to beat him healthy. Zero excuses.
So
You have to beat him.
Tony and Emily, because you're not regulars here, so you're not going to be here next week to give us predictions. So start with Tony and then Emily. Does Roman or Cody walk out of Mania with that title? Because right
Cody.
now, you got Cody? What do you think, Tony?
Yeah.
I was sold on Cody, but now I'm 50-50.
No,
I'm still,
Cody.
I'm still sold on Cody, but I'm going to give a reason why it should be Roman.
That 1,000 days?
Yes, 100%.
Oh.
I think that legacy of holding the championship for 1,000 days. I think the story of Cody chasing the quote unquote brass ring, going after the title that his father was never able to hold, in symbolism, obviously. But
It was Dusty's
going
story in NWA, WCW back then. He was always tracing it for a while until he finally won it.
right, and
The
I
case
think,
was a great story.
yeah, I think there's a lot of money also in a disassociated Cody Rhodes. I did everything right and still couldn't do it. We've
Maybe he wins at SummerSlam instead. I don't know.
Maybe he doesn't win for a while. Maybe he doesn't need the World Heavyweight Championship. Neither does Roman right now.
At this point, I wouldn't be mad at it because it would be a surprise. Right now, pretty much like we said, pretty much everyone's sold. Cody's going to win, right? It's the end of the story. He's finally done it. Most people were at 90%. So at this point, that's why I'm 50-50 because I wouldn't be mad at Roman retaining right now because I'd be surprised.
Can you highlight Clinton's quote for a second? So, Clint, the reason it matters is that the Universal title and the WWE title, for storyline purposes, are part and parcel the same thing. So it's all of that. The whole record is that. So should you split the titles? You should probably at some point split the titles again.
Keep going, Tony, because you're segueing perfect for me.
But right now, the title is exactly where it is. And while he carries 2 belts visually, there's only 1 belt right now. The lineages have merged. There's only 1 belt, and it's the belt that is going for 900 plus days right now, and it's almost going to cross 1,000 days. So that's my opinion. But good point.
So we got one that says Roman, one that says Cody, and that's kind of how it seemed as if it was inevitable, but now I think it's kind of up in the air. I would love to see Big Gold back personally. That's my favorite belt of all time.
I like the Undisputed.
I understand why they have to, because there's 2 networks that want a champion on their channel. I understand the business aspect, but as a wrestling fan, as a wrestling company, there's always that pinnacle, that one person that is the champion. Right now it's Roman because he has both. I'd love to see one title, or I hate the brand split completely. They don't need it anymore.
Well, I don't think the brand split's necessary right now either.
They don't even follow it.
No, they don't follow it. But I also understand why Fox wants its old thing, why USA wants their own thing. I do understand all those points. The problem is that you need to shore up your universe. For better or for worse, the WWE universe, no pun intended, is a little bit awkward right now because you have a lot of pieces that are brand specific and a lot of pieces that are not. Honestly, shoring up the whole company and being like, no, we run twice, two shows with an equal opportunity lineup, that's fine and dandy. The problem is, and this is also a problem AEW runs into, is you have way too much talent and not enough hours of TV time.
We'll talk about that in a minute too. It's something else, and this is the other thing. Cody's been rumored to bring the Winged Eagle back too. So we'll see.
It's so small though.
Yeah, it is small compared to the other big. Couple of little news tips that I saw. Did anybody see this little audio clip and video from Ali singing?
No.
Singing. He has a little video of him singing about Retribution. I just put this here because you have to find it and watch it. It is one of the funniest things. He sings about Retribution and the silly names and this and that. It's hilarious. So check out. And I think this could be the beginning of a character development for Ali that could really push him. He's always been missing that weird something special, in my opinion. His little, you just got to see it. I wish I could show it. What do you guys think about all these commercials? The Hollywood
best
commercials.
Promo ever. I was loving every minute. Listen, that is one of my favorite movies of all time, The 40-Year-Old Virgin. I love this movie.
Autobiographical, I get it.
We had Seth as a Joker. We had a couple other ones that they're doing now. The whole Hollywood thing like they did back in the day. And it was definitely funny. It was definitely funny.
They took the smoothest guy, too, to get waxed. And how they put that first. I was losing it.
Speaking of new shows, you're talking about TV time. Could this be that new TV show that AEW is talking about on Saturdays? This is the first televised event in July, and they were talking about.
Do you want to run shows on in Saturday when you're very reliant on your AEW signed talent to be going back home and running these local promotions? Because Cole Carter worked last Friday in West Virginia.
So much content. They're going to have access on Wednesdays now and a third TV show.
I don't think.
What is Tony doing? Is he trying to make them have so much content that you can't watch any other company but them if you really want to sink into it?
Yes.
I would. That's a great business model if you ask me.
No, it's an awful business model. It's an egotistical business model.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
But he's also not knocking other companies. He's involving them. Forbidden Door and all these other the AAA stuff he's been doing.
He's involving until you involve companies that you don't think you are above. And in the U.S. market, and I don't agree with this, New Japan is still below WWE and AEW. However you want to rank WWE, AEW 1 and 2, but New Japan Strong is not competing with them on the scale, so he doesn't think of them as a threat. It's the same thing as when ECW talent came into Raw when a bunch of guys were overseas in the 90s and took over Raw for a time. It's the same thing.
I still consider them different. I mean, even though they're the same, they're different. I think WWE is still number one regardless. And AEW is a different product to me. That's all. I enjoy AEW better right now, except for the Bloodline stuff. This is the beginning of last night. We're going to talk about Dynamite now as our final segment. You see they loaded up someone, and look on the right. See all the tables? They're covering up Punk's face. So, and me, if you asked me last week, I was sold on Punk will be back in AEW by the end of the year. But then this happened.
This doesn't sell you on it? This doesn't sell
if
you
it's
as
a work,
the internet?
this did not sell me. So I know no one can read it, but I'm going to read it for you. I wasn't cleared to come back to wrestle yet. So CM Punk is saying that Tony Khan forced him to fight when he wasn't allowed. This is an Instagram post that he took down right after he put it up. Then planned to wrestle to pay-per-view. I sat and listened to Moxley's Rocky 3 idea. I explained how I'd never seen a Rocky movie. I don't know how that happens. I thought the idea sucked, but if the boss wanted to do it, whatever. He said he wouldn't lose to me. I'd never experienced someone refusing to lose to me. I just laughed. I asked Tony if this was what he wanted. He said yes. He's the boss, so I said okay, but I need to be cleared first. They kept saying it could just be a squash. You didn't need to be cleared, huh? I scoffed at that. My health is more important. Dave Meltzer's a liar. Jericho is a liar and a stooge. There were plans, but plans always change, and I'll never put a company above my health ever again. That, to me, is saying he's not coming back to AEW.
Yeah, no.
You don't do that as a work.
No.
That's over a work.
Yeah.
At this point, I think Triple H brings him back eventually.
Phil Brooks is a fucking whiny little cunt. And he really needs to shut the fuck up and get his mind right and be CM Punk again, because everything he goddamn does is just shooting himself in the foot and tarnishing a legacy that he built in not just WWE, his ROH stuff. You now know that your entire body of work is owned by Tony Khan, and you're dissing the guy. Like, I don't like Tony Khan, and you're making me want to, be on Khan's side on this.
I'm with you.
And I was a huge CM Punk fan, and
he's a needle mover. Wherever he goes, people will be talking about it for a long time. Regardless of this shit.
So why not just go away, shut the fuck up, and just disappear for a little bit?
Obviously, he doesn't want to. Obviously, he wants to still make waves somewhere.
Then this is an ego trip. Then this is a fucking ego trip. All of what he just said, yes. Could this all be true? Sure.
Sure.
Is
I don't think his body can take it either.
Is
I don't
anyone
think his body can take it.
Well, I don't think his body can take it just because his matches.
But as a persona, he moves the needle. If he goes to WWE and shows up at Mania, are you kidding me? The night after Raw, if he shows up.
Here's the thing.
What's everybody talking about?
That? I don't want
No, but I'm just saying.
It doesn't to
me takes AEW out of the picture, in my opinion. If he comes, hey, I'll be pleasantly surprised and then probably pissed off later, because if you ask a group of people, I mean, there's this big myth right now that people want to leave AEW and all this, maybe a couple people. But if you ask a certain group of people, they had bad experiences with Punk in the back and this and that. Then ask FTR what they're talking about. They have none but good things to say about him. So who is Punk? There's 50-50.
Swerve
He's a jerk, obviously.
Swerve is bummed because he wanted that dream match against Punk and he never got it.
There's people that want him back regardless of all the consequences.
Look, all three of us, Blaze, all three of us are in locker rooms. We all know that there are people in locker rooms who sometimes don't like each other. And but at the end of the day,
any workplace, you got to deal with that.
At the end of the day, the booker puts your name on the card next to the guy you don't like. You better put together a good match, and it better not be personal, or one of you ain't coming back. And usually it's the guy with veteranship who stays, and you go. Now, no offense to CM Punk, but his veteranship card went out the window a while ago.
I was going to say that went out the window a while ago.
Yeah. Someone took his card from him. And you cannot ride the Summer of Punk 11 for the rest of your career. You can be bitter as much as you want that you never got your WrestleMania main event. And listen, you deserved it. You 100% deserved it. And you got shafted. Buddy, I feel for you. I've been shafted in this business too. I know what it's like. Not as big as you, but I've been shafted recently, and I know what it's like. Okay? Don't be a twat. You're being a twat.
It will engulf the wrestling world, whatever he does. And I'm with you on that. It's a frustration of someone who has the world and they treat it like this in wrestling, and it's frustrating.
Maybe
it is
that's
what
my
it is.
beef about it, because I look at this and I say, you don't have, like, if you don't want to wrestle anymore, that's fine. You don't have to wrestle anymore.
He could commentate. He could do all kind of stuff.
But then don't keep telling people, oh, I could wrestle if I still wanted to, because you're taking the spotlight, whether that's what he means to do or not, or maybe this is just Phil Brooks is so insecure still that he's afraid to lose the spotlight for a second.
Yeah, so people will flock to wherever he goes. If he shows up somewhere and you know it, that will be very highly rated.
And his dog collar match with MJF is one of my favorite matches of the last few years. But for the love of God, go away.
Speaking of great matches, Doc, I'll let you start because I heard you say it before. Kenny Omega and Vikingo.
Vikingo and Omega match of the year. If you haven't seen this, then you denied yourself probably one of the most. I've never seen a man in my life do a hurricanrana where you stop in midair, revert. It was like someone had a remote control. I thought maybe Adam Sandler came out with that. What was that movie called? Click. It looked like someone was literally hitting rewind, pause, play.
It was
the way he just moved. You want to talk about the future of pro wrestling?
Yeah.
My God. Kingo just
Does he
blew
speak English?
my
I've never heard
mind.
him. I don't know Triple H. Can he speak English?
I really don't know.
I've never seen someone use the second rope like he does.
No, he is unreal.
Springboard from the second rope over.
But he locks his. Did you notice he locks his legs?
It's incredible what he does.
Insane.
You
have to watch replays.
You know what the crazy thing is? That might have actually been one of the worst of Vikingo's matches I've ever seen, and it was still a great match. And it was still a great match.
What parts weren't like up to par with him?
So I thought
I've only
actually
seen like
it has nothing to do with him. I actually think Kenny was a little bit slow. I don't think Kenny was ready for the pace of this. Probably because of the angle afterwards might have been distracting him a little bit, because the angle afterwards was a little bit bollocks. But what we saw on Dynamite is Vikingo at like 50%,
which is impressive.
His Triple H stuff is nutty. He's taken lucha, which is an amazing art form that very few can do in 2023, because it's not really taught in US sense, and we haven't really had that transitional lucha guy. I mean, Ricochet to a degree, but we really haven't had a transitional, except for Rey Fenix.
I was going to say, definitely.
And Penta is more of a Conan build. He's not really he's a lucha hybrid, but Penta versus Vikingo would tear the fucking roof off a place. But Kenny, I think Kenny would want to run this back, because I know Kenny is a perfectionist, and I know Kenny picked up on the little, like, it's 3 frames off. It's 3 frames off. You don't know it's off except for when you know it's off. I know Kenny would want this one.
Well, you're not the only one.
It was still a great match.
Tony. Good match, but something was just missing there. Andy Price with the same kind of feeling, but it's good to see a wrestler come in and see maneuvers that you don't normally see.
Let me say this: when your bad match of the year can still be a top contender for best match of the year, that's phenomenal. This guy is amazing,
impressive.
And Kavad, like, I would love to see Kavad versus Vikingo. That'd be fun as shit. Let's do it in 2K23 this week, Blaze.
There you go. Anything else on this, Emily? Did you get to watch Dynamite last night?
I didn't.
No? That's all right.
Don't spoil it.
It's definitely one to check into, because a lot of the stories were going a little further. And to me, I can only speak for myself. I think AEW is really starting to ramp up. I mean, it's WrestleMania season. They know everyone's going to be talking about WrestleMania. So you got to start ramping up. You got to start doing some other things. We got the ROH pay-per-view at the end of the month. And I see only good things in the future. Maybe that Punk thing is a blessing in disguise. Let him go somewhere else that he doesn't come back, because it was really starting to heat up that he was probably coming back. And I think that that little incident today may have reversed it. I don't know. It's pro wrestling. You never say never. We got Sting in there at 63 years old, still doing crazy things, entertaining, doing the Darby Allin stuff. Stokely Hathaway was a genius in that role of the flimsy manager that's always getting beat down and stuff. He was hilarious in that match against Hook.
Thank you. Thank you for recognizing that was exactly what it needed to be. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's so entertaining. It's what's missing. I love managers and valets in the past. They bring such a different aspect to the game, in my opinion. We don't see that enough anymore. Stokely's probably the best, besides Paul Heyman, the best manager out there for what he's been doing. And that grab that they got, we talk about all the hits and misses of AEW grabbing people. That's proven to be gold right here with Stokely Hathaway. The angle with the ladies continues to develop. Who they're going to bring in, who they else are going to do, and all the heat behind Forbidden Door, because now I'm hearing rumors that some of these matches we're getting Forbidden Door are going to be huge, like they were supposed to be last year. Fucking things already sold out. They sold out. It's going to be one of the biggest AEW shows ever, and they're doing a whole Canadian tour after it. So it's pretty important. I mean, they're starting to expand. They're getting other things. I think this Access TV show is going to be a bomb. I don't think it's going to work at all. As much as I'm an AEW fan, I don't think it's going to work. If it's what I think it is. If it's truly a behind, I talked about this last week. If it's truly behind the scenes and we give more in depth on these characters and stuff, I'm game for it. If it's just fluff that they don't really need, I don't know. I'm just worried about it because what are the other, the roads to the top? That's what it's replacing. I don't. Do we want them to only act for an hour, or are we really going to get legit backstory? Is it going to be them trying to act out these weird things? I don't know. I'd like to be surprised that it's good, but I'm thinking it's not going to be. So that was a lot of stuff. All the local stuff is amazing. It's that time of year, man. WrestleMania season, it's all hyping up. We got only one thing to do, and Tony said it earlier, so we'll say it one more time at the end of the day. I know we keep this show to an hour, but today I do not mind a 2-hour show. I miss it a little bit. CJ's not here to give me shit, but hopefully he's all right out of WrestleRex, and wish him luck tomorrow night. I definitely want to thank Emily for reminding me that this was the week you were coming back, and I wouldn't have forgot. I probably would have forgot. But always a pleasure to have you on. We appreciate all your hard work that you do in all these companies. Tony, it was a nice little surprise. I got a hold of him last night. And I thought, let's make it a surprise. I want to see the look on Doc's face and that little eye roll. Right there.
I just love the fact that it's always a fucking surprise. Always. I never told.
It wouldn't have been as fun.
It's just annoying as fuck. It really is. Just tell me when there's people here. Seriously. I don't know. I don't care.
If it was anybody else,
I'm here every.
This was a good surprise
for the TPW show.
I'm just saying, he's here.
It's out of love, Doc.
All right, cool.
Okay, this is the last segment you started with at the end of the day, and you give us our final thoughts. Tony, we'll start with you.
At the end of the day, just enjoy wrestling. I know I say this every time I'm on the show. Just enjoy it.
People need to hear
it. People need to keep hearing this, because every time I'm on Twitter doing work and promo stuff and trying to promote shows, I forget to do it because I read some bullshit involving Meltzer and people like that.
Everyone has a voice, and it's not really a great thing.
We don't need, and I alluded to this a little bit. You're using the graphics you're using, Blaze, because they are one of the most prominent voices for wrestling rumors. Here's the thing, fans. Hi, my name is Tony Kincaid. You might know me from various shows. I'm here to tell you an important lesson. When you complain about wrestling being too predictable and you spend all your time on Reddit and Sportsgeekpedia and you're subscribed to Meltzer and a bunch of other podcasts and you're upset that you're spoiled, you're a dumbass because you're spoiling yourself. So if you want to be surprised by pro wrestling, do yourself a favor. Delete the fucking subscriptions to these dirt sheets, rag sheets, whatever you want to call them, and enjoy the promotion and the show and the spectacle of pro wrestling. Because you know what? You're just screwing yourself. Don't blame us when you don't like what you're watching, because you already knew it was coming. Thanks.
good. We say it every week here. Your WrestleSense is your opinion on wrestling, and you're not wrong. Cheer who you want to cheer, hate who you want to hate, like who you want to like. But you're right. If you flood yourself with information right now, you're gonna be disappointed. How many people right now are going, "Oh, WrestleMania is gonna suck because The Rock ain't there." You guys told us The Rock was gonna be there. There is a rumor that one way that it does end, if Roman does retain, then we get the face off with The Rock at the end to send the fans home.
Yeah, I heard that rumor too. Yep.
Yeah, but here's the thing: you keep hearing these rumors, and then when they don't happen, you're upset that they didn't happen because you built your expectations up to it. But if they do happen, you're upset because they did happen exactly how the rumor said, and you were expecting it.
Oh my God, these guys are making me sick. Look at all this love for Tony. Well spoken.
They are loving
Holy
Tony.
shit, Tony Kincaid fan.
Look,
it's all
if
facts,
you look
though.
at my moniker, the voice of Pittsburgh Pro Wrestling, it's because I don't lie. Whether you like me or dislike me, I don't lie.
Because your competition for the voice of Pittsburgh Pro Wrestling would be this man next to me. So you're saying
no, he's my accessory. He's like a purse. He's a very expensive purse.
With that, we'll go to Emily for her at the end of the day first.
Well, at the end of the day, I just was going to relay off kind of what Tony said. Just go and enjoy local indie wrestling. Like, I don't know how many times I have to tell any friends or anybody that messages me about, hey, when's the next AEW show? When's the next WWE show? Why don't you go to a local show? That's where you're going to see all your stars before they get on the big screen. That's where you're going to see all of those people. I've had a pretty rough week at work. So when I say when I say this next part to be kind, just do it. I had a pretty rough week. I went into work on Monday and got a call from a local police station that one of my customers shot and killed herself this week, that I just talked to last week. And it goes to show that you just never know what anybody's going through. So just be kind to each other. I know that it's hard, especially in the indie wrestling business, sometimes even for me. So just be kind to everybody. And if you haven't purchased your tickets for 2PW tomorrow night, make sure you purchase those tonight. They'll be available until doors open tomorrow online. So make sure you do that.
Well said, Emily. I always say, let's celebrate people that you love and you respect and you appreciate now before it's too late, because you never know.
Yeah,
so that's definitely
something I live by. I told
well.
my husband, I don't think it would have been hitting me nearly as hard this week if I didn't just talk to her last week, and she seemed perfectly fine. So
this is a blessing to me to be able to do things like this. I'm going to blow more smoke because you guys have done, you two commentators, this is like me commentating with you guys, and you guys have done it for so long. You're so good at what you do consistently for so long. It's just amazing. I'm sure you don't get the praise you both deserve for what you do. And you too, Emily, for all the hard work you put in the ring, around the ring, outside the ring, behind the ring, and everywhere. All three of you really need your kudos. And if I have the ability to get that word out here, that's what I want to do, is to praise you guys for what you do, because you don't get enough praise for what you do. You might hear about it when you do something wrong or you forgot something, but you guys are doing great work week in and week out, month in and month out, year in and year out, with multiple companies around here, man. I don't know what more needs to be said. I joke around with Doc. We've known each other forever. I've just met Emily, but I feel like I've known her my whole life. Me and Tony bust balls, but he's brilliant at what he does, man. These people are in their positions for a reason. And I'm blessed to be a part of it. Kavad, same thing. Aaron West, Wheels knows it. And the praise is needed for you guys, because even when I used to work retail and shit, you only hear bad shit when people are dissatisfied or not happy. You don't hear the praise. I don't take praise very well, but I love to give it, and you guys deserve it. Doc, my brother, at the end of the day, my friend.
At the end of the day, when you're feeling low, you're feeling sad, you're feeling like you need someone to talk to, 988. That's all it is.
Yes,
that is the suicide and crisis lifeline. So, I'm Emily. My condolences. I did not know you were going through this. You could also text that number, and someone will be there to help you out. So I definitely, that's one thing about me I hold near and dear to my heart. So Dial those 3 numbers. That's all it is 3 numbers. They changed it to 3 numbers so you know to call when you are in need and help. Number 2, purse. Wow.
Very.
Someone said your diamond-studded belt, not a purse.
Thank you, D-Train. I appreciate that. That's all right, because you know what I miss? I miss wrestling.
Oh,
I miss when wrestling in the 80s. And to piggyback off of what both these lovely people said, I'm even considering Tony lovely. Look, I got my own even Tony Kincaid action figure here. Good old Tony Colade here. I've always say it like this. Before the internet, that's when wrestling was fun because you didn't know what the hell was coming.
Yeah.
The internet, and I'm not saying it ruined pro wrestling. Nothing ruins pro wrestling. Pro wrestling is a force to be reckoned with. It will be through in and throughout over the years. But before, the dirt sheets and all this stupid shit, guess what, man? I loved being surprised. And I'm going to keep on being surprised because if I see something, scroll. Scroll the fuck away from it.
Forget it.
Scroll away from Meltzer.
Don't click
Scroll
that link.
away from,
Don't
everything.
take one person's opinion. That's my biggest gripe. Don't take one person's
That's what I'm saying. Enjoy wrestling for what it is. It's about storytelling. It's about having fun watching something, not about making people vacant, not about taking things away from people because you're mad because they want something from you. Fuck that.
Yeah,
the bottom line is this: have fun watching it, enjoy it. You know what? Even though he's a son of a bitch, we enjoy our jobs. We have fun doing what we have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Fuck you. Good night. MJF. All right.
At the end of the day, I agree with all 3 that you guys said. Number 2, it's not going to change. So that information's all going to be out there. So you know who I leave it up to? Those people named Triple H. Those guys named Tony Khan. Keep us guessing.
Mm-hmm.
Keep us guessing. Don't let it get out.
Yep.
Get creative. Get innovative. Give us something like when I was in high school that I want to go to the cafeteria on Monday and talk about on Tuesday and talk about what happened on Raw. What's going to happen next? Grab me and have fun with it, guys. This is what we do every Thursday night. We sit here and bullshit like a bunch of friends just talking about wrestling. We want to have fun with it, and we want you guys to not let anybody tell you how to think about wrestling. That's your WrestleSense. I'll be live here in a moment after we're done with some LTD wrestling. Still stuck on 2K22. I'll be going to 2K23 very soon as well, so join me for that if you can. Next week, we're going to talk all about WrestleMania, a huge weekend. Big shout out to Tony Kincaid for surprising us today. And Doc, sorry, buddy, I still love you. Big shout out to Emily Doyle for being a part of the show. It will definitely not be the last time. We appreciate all your hard work, all 3 of you. And thank everybody in the chat, man. If you haven't already, we got 14 thumbs. We get some more thumbs up there. Share it out. Tell people what's going on here every week and send your friends back, man. The more the merrier. We're slowly growing the channel, and we just want to reach out to people. Love y'all. Peace, positive vibes, and I'll see you in my streams. We out of here.